Big day for the Houston Texans. We have a trade. 3 out of the 4 defensive linemen from last year are gone. Are you worried about it? Plus, what the heck is next? What are they cooking up? Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlock, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital.
Active day for the Houston Texans. Not as active as yesterday, but it's a very important day, and there could be some long-term effects of the day. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday. You can see me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central, Sports Radio 610, Odyssey app, and on YouTube. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Let's just jump right into it right now. The day for the Texans started off, we had a trade. It was on the air when it happened. Maliek Collins traded to the San Francisco 49ers. Collins has been a valuable piece for the Texans. DeMeco Ryans, it was the first extension or contract that they handed out after DeMeco Ryans had actually been around the guys. I think it was at a mini camp. They gave Collins a contract, and he was kind of, for the Texans, he was kind of the no-nonsense guy. There's a lot of personalities in this locker room. I think Sheldon Rankins, who we'll talk about in a sec, was another one of those guys, just kind of the no-nonsense, about that business, not as exciting of an interview, but a guy that they valued and a guy that they liked, and I think a guy that gave you really everything that you could ask for. Last season, Collins had 5 sacks, 41 total tackles, 16 games played, and he was there for the Texans when they needed him most. But he's going to go to the San Francisco 49ers. Texans receive a 7th-round pick for Maliek Collins, which basically means that the Joe Mixon trade never happened. Most of you knew what I meant when I tweeted out that the trade never happened because they traded a 7th-rounder for Joe Mixon. They got a 7th-rounder back for Maliek Collins. So that kind of move just kind of cancels it out to where they have as many draft picks today as they did before they started making moves. So Maliek Collins, that's one starter gone. He's going to San Francisco. Who, by the way, as expected, they released Eric Armstead. And the Eric Armstead rumors are running wild. The connection to DeMeco Ryans, perhaps a couple of spots open on the D-line to where you could perhaps bring him in. And another guy who, much like what Rankins brought to the table and what Collins brought to the table, he would bring you perhaps just as much leadership, if not more, and a little bit more battle tested at a higher level, along with the guy DeMeco Ryans is familiar with. So immediately that's kind of where the attention is shifted. Is Eric Armstead immediately going to be the guy that the Texans look to fill the void that is left by 3 starters departing on the D line? It seems to be a natural fit. I know Tennessee's been mentioned as a team that could perhaps be interested in bringing him in. I just don't know if you're Eric Armstead. Why do you want to go to Tennessee at this point? What are you accomplishing? I'm not saying that to talk crap. I'm asking a legit question. Like, what are you really accomplishing by going to Tennessee? Is there anything that you're getting from that? I don't know. How bad is the injury? That's a good question. Look, there's going to be there's going to be obviously some concerns. My thing with Armstead is it's not like he got hurt and we haven't seen him since he got hurt. He got hurt. He missed some regular season time. He gutted it out in the playoffs and he held off surgery. And the last time we saw him on the football field, he had a sack and 6 tackles against the Chiefs. I mean, does that mean that he's going to come back 100%? Don't know. But if he gutted it out and he performed at a high level in the Super Bowl, I believe he'll be able to come back, which is what Brandon brings up. That's my point. Like if we hadn't seen him for the final 9 games of the season, I would be there. But the 49ers wanted him back. They didn't release him because he was hurt. They released him because they've got some bills to pay. And that it was going to be a $28 million cap hit. So we'll see how far that goes. But I think he's perfect for what they're trying to bring. Autry is just playing DT. I think he'll play some DT. I think he'll line up on the end. I think they're going to move guys around a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of creativity with these guys. There's a lot of things you can do with Autry. You can line him up on the inside. You can line him up on the outside. Hell, they like to line Will Anderson up on the inside last year, especially at camp. And you got to think he's going to be more comfortable with stuff. So there's just a lot of options on the defensive line. So we'll get into that. I'll get your comments. Be sure to like the video. I appreciate everyone for rolling through. Day 3. It was an interesting day to say the least, and we'll get into the long-term impact. But Maliek Collins to the 49ers, the first thing that happened a little later in the afternoon, I think this was around 6, another starting D lineman, Sheldon Rankins, he signs with the Bengals. Jeremy Fowler with that news, 2 years, $36 million. Good for him. I didn't even see the guarantees yet from Fowler. Good for him. Again, if Armstead's available and if there's going to be some releases and there's opportunity in the draft, salute to Sheldon Rankins. The Texans have already spent some money on the D-line. I loved talking to Sheldon Rankins. He is the ultimate professional. He's a no-nonsense guy. He's a guy who they kind of gravitated to in the locker room. I remember when we visited with him, and he basically, we just asked him what he said to the team, and he basically redid the speech. It was a 3-minute and 36-second answer when we interviewed him. Much love to Sheldon Rankins. Hell of a strong presence. A great 1-year signing by Caserio. But if you're bringing in Armstead and you're bringing in some other guys, despite the fact that 3 out of your 4 starting D-line are gone, I don't think anyone can dispute that the Texans have definitely improved the quality of the D-line. I would for sure say that they've improved the quality of the D-line for sure. I think that, and that was one of DeMeco Ryan's goals. They've already done it. There could be opportunity to go even more heavy on it in the draft. But right now, I think they improved the quality of the D-line, no doubt. Jeremy says get Armstead and Reeder. I think Reeder's visiting Detroit right now, so I'm imagining they want him to pass a physical, but that would be a good landing spot for DJ Reeder. Do you think Dylan Horton makes it back at some point this season? I don't know how long leukemia treatment is after remission. I don't mean this bad. I don't know if he were healthy, he would have a hard time getting on the field, even if he were healthy. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It was going to be it was going to be a challenge for him regardless. So I have no idea. I think he said it was stage 4. I don't know even in a healthy world how he would look. So I don't even I would assume that we're not going to see that. Pablo asks, "What's the next move?" We will we'll get into that on the back end a little bit here. B. Rios, Landry, this would be la la land and never happen. But if you had to choose between trading a haul to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. or trading a haul for Jefferson, which would you choose? Is it the same haul? Like, am I trading? What are we talking? I just don't know about a Jefferson trade at this point, because the whole thing with the Jefferson trade is you're going to make the trade and then you're probably going to have to make him the highest paid receiver in the NFL. So the flexibility that you have, you won't have anymore. If you think Marvin Harrison is him, like if you're just asking me either one, I would probably go Harrison because he would be on his rookie deal. Although it's draft talk, but there seems to be momentum that some people wonder about if Harrison's going to even go first of the draft. So we'll figure that out. How much cap space do we have? Look, whatever they want to do, they can do. I think the last number I saw was 20. They obviously got they'll have Tunsil or Howard or whatever restructured deals. They're fine. If they want to go sign Simmons and Armstead, they're going to be fine. They're in good shape right now. So I wouldn't be worried about that. Someone's asking about what's Twitter people. I don't know who Twitter people are. What's with Twitter people saying something's cooking right now? Is it just clickbait? I don't know. I don't know. Is Armstead that good? The stats didn't really pop. I mean, is he what he was 4 years ago? Probably not. But if you're bringing him in and you're putting him in the mix with the Neil Hunter, if you're asking him to be what Sheldon Rankins was, assuming that he's healthy, I think you're in pretty good shape there. I don't think he sucks. So there's that. But they've upgraded the D line. Let's just make that very clear. The D line has been upgraded. What do they need now? Is a question. What do the Texans need now? They need offensive weapons in every area. Wide receiver, same wide receiver room as last year, and that was not good enough. They need another running back. Joe Mixon, good. We don't know what Dameon Pierce can be. And they could perhaps even use another tight end because it's the same tight end room as last year. I don't know if Quitoriano is someone that you can even rely on. He's going to be fighting for his NFL life. But really every skill position on offense, they could use some help at. Maybe not like extreme help, but they could use some help. On defense, I would imagine they still want some guys on the line. I would imagine they need one linebacker. They might need a starting corner. They definitely need some depth there, and they might need a safety, depending on how they feel about Jalen Petrie and where exactly he's at. So there's still plenty of opportunity. There's also plenty of time. There's not really a massive hurry because there's going to be players that are freed up. You got the draft, all that. So you'll be able to figure some stuff out. How do I feel about Gilmore? I like Gilmore. If he's going to be a number 2 corner for like a year or something like that, I don't have a problem with him. He's not what he was back in the day, but I mean, if you're just bringing him in to line up opposite Stingley, don't hate that. Don't hate that too much. Not even a little bit. Some news that could perhaps impact the Texans in indirect ways. If we're going to talk about the draft, there's a couple of things, including something that's just freaking hilarious that happened. First one, this seems like one of the draft pipe dreams that gets discussed the most. As far as, would they do this, or would if this opportunity presented itself, would the Texans do this? Positional value is something that we talk about a lot leading up to the draft. A lot of times it's about the running back. Sometimes it's about interior O-line. But tight end is a real polarizing position as well. I think 19 tight ends in the last 2 decades have been selected in the first round. And usually when they go top 10, it ain't pretty. There's very few examples of it going well. Brock Bowers not working out at UGA Pro Day. He's actually going to have his own personal workout in April. I don't know where Brock Bowers falls. I have a $100 bet with John McClain that he falls out of the top 10. I feel pretty decent about that bet, but who knows where Brock Bowers falls? Could there be a situation where, he's falling to 23? I mean, stranger things have happened, especially when you're talking about the positional value, but I don't know how much they think that's necessary and how much they think that there's like other glaring needs that they need to take care of before they do such a thing. So Brock Bowers, let me know. Would y'all, if Brock Bowers falls, are y'all in love with Brock Bowers? Are you fine at tight end? Talk to me. Let me know where y'all sit on the possibility of Brock Bowers being a Texan. Where are y'all sitting on that? I like the guy. I don't know if that's something I would be. And it might be a pipe dream to even assume that he's going to fall. I don't know that it's that important. I think you can find some seems like there's some mixed, some no's, some yeses. I like Jatavian Sanders. I don't know if they do. They didn't talk to him at the combine, but who knows? And maybe they think maybe they want someone who's a little bit better of a blocker than that. Other stuff that impacts the Texans. If you're in the camp of wide receiver in the first round, and quite frankly, I see these contracts, and we'll get to this Calvin Ridley thing, which is, oh my God. I want, if you can get a guy that you think is going to be a stud in the first round, and you can have a wide receiver on his rookie deal, I think you do it. I mean, the positional value, like if we are going to go back to it, and I know I'm kind of silly because sometimes I roll my eyes at it, but with how much these guys are getting broke off and how valuable they are and how you can put as many as 5 of them on the field at the same time, and even the guys that you feel good about, that they've had trouble staying on the field, and you have bad depth at the position, and you've already addressed defense, and you have some guys with high upside on the defensive side of the ball. If you can get a wide receiver at 23, I'm sorry, I think you got to do it. That's not a knock on Nico. That's not. I mean, it's just you just got to do it. And right now, there's a couple of things in front of the Texans that could make whatever wide receiver they like, perhaps go sooner than they anticipate. And there's also a scenario where a wide receiver could fall back to him. The first one is, I don't know if y'all saw the trade. Deontay Johnson goes to Carolina, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get rid of Deontay Johnson. They just got Russell Wilson. He's basically playing for pennies. There's talk now that 3 spots before the Texans at 20, Pittsburgh taking a wide receiver could be a strong possibility. So you could see a situation where Pittsburgh is in that same market. So there's nothing worse. You all know this. We're all draft folk in here. There's nothing worse. And I can go back to my childhood and remember some of these things. There's nothing worse than you're 10 picks away. Your guy's still there. You want him. Then you're 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You're rubbing your hands together. Please don't take him. Please don't take him. You're looking at the 4 teams in front and you're saying, man, surely they're not going to do it. And then boom, he gone. Watch out for Pittsburgh to be in that wide receiver market for sure. They got Pickens right now, and they just got rid of Johnson. So if you're a Texans fan and you're a pro receiver and you're keeping an eye on Franklin or Mitchell or Worthy or Coleman, whoever the hell you like, you could have your heart broken very, very, very abruptly. So look out for Pittsburgh. Something interesting today that I saw that is pretty damn hilarious. So this is a guy who's gotten a lot of steam as the draft process has approached. And I actually had to check this out to make sure that this was right. And let's just be honest, you've seen the guy make plays for a while, but there is still kind of like a racial stereotype element where some people thought this guy's going to be a slot receiver. Some people thought that, perhaps he's not fast enough or whatever. But there is a lot of momentum right now for Lad McConkey, a.k.a. Lad McConkey, to some, the Georgia wide receiver. And I thought this was kind of a joke and a bit when I first saw it, but this is not a guy who does a lot of bits or partakes in a lot of bits. So I'm going to pull this up. It's from the 33rd team. This is the scouting report from Lad McConkey. And the guy who does their scouting reports is Greg Cosell, who's one of the most respected in the game. And you can see that 40 time. 5'11". His athleticism is, when you put it side by side with Garrett Wilson, it's literally identical. And I think if you could get Garrett Wilson, you'd feel great. Now, the difference between Garrett Wilson coming in and Lad McConkey coming in is Georgia. I mean, they even when they had Bennett, they were limited at quarterback. They were going to be a balanced offense. They're not going to throw the rock as much, so you don't get a chance to showcase yourself as much, although we did know that the guy could ball. But I want to read you this scouting report from Greg Cosell, because this might be a guy, I'm not going to lie, I've kind of dismissed it. I've kind of dismissed it like as a possibility in the first round, but then I read what Greg Cosell said. And let's just look at this. And I promise this is going somewhere. This is the strengths right here. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 strengths from the great Greg Cosell on Lad McConkey. Smooth, fluid, loose hip, shifty wide receiver with extensive experience lining up outside and in the slot. No, he's not a slot receiver. So get rid of that. Short area burst and quickness is immediately evident. No wasted motion or steps in and out of cuts. Shows excellent short area quickness to defeat press coverage and get into vertical stem without disruption. I promise this is going somewhere. Knows how to use vertical stem to attack corners, to get them off their spot, and or get their bodies turned. Shows the athletic ability and body control to stop and change direction with few steps and then short area burst. Has natural quickness as a route runner with bursts and accelerating speed to run by and get on top of the corners. Outstanding stop-start ability in and out of breaks with sudden burst and quickness. Just wait. Separation generator. Flashes body control and soft hands to make shoulder catches from the outside and on slot fades. Elusive run after catch traits with lateral quickness to make defenders miss in space. Shows fluid shiftiness. So that sounds like a pretty damn good receiver, doesn't it? I mean, I would say that sounds like a pretty damn good receiver, right? And it's a scouting report. And Mike B saying he's not worth it. Okay. I would respect Greg Cosell's scouting report. I'm not saying it's the gospel. I would respect his scouting report. But it's not a route running thing either. The guy's explosive. But yeah, it's not just a thing. Again, he's sneaky fast. Yes, he is. He surprises some people. But here's where it gets crazy. And this is Jake. This is why I'm bringing this up. You ready for this? This is Greg Cosell, okay? This isn't some asshat pretending to watch tape that you see on Twitter that says watch the tape and they're just pulling up some highlights and they don't even know what goes into watching tape. I'm not a tape watcher. I've sat in with some of those guys. It's boring. But I'm glad you asked this question, Jake. And he's damn sure not Hunter Renfrow. But look at this. This is the crazy thing about it. You ready? Weaknesses. None. What? None. That's Greg Cosell's scouting report. This is I saw this and I was like, what is going on here? Like, what? I mean, because y'all thought I was just reading the strengths and you're like, okay, well, that's a normal scouting report. He put none. What are we doing here? Like, I don't know. It's Greg Cosell again. I'm telling you, if it were, and the thing about these Georgia receivers is they're hard to judge because they don't throw the rock well. Like he's had weird situations. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit crazy, but again, we're not talking about some troll. We're talking about Greg Cosell, who lives in the film room. So I just thought it was I'll say interesting, to say the very least. For sure. I don't think he left it unfinished. I think he just said none. I don't know what the hell's going on there. 33rd team put up a graphic of it too, which I think is nuts. I don't know what that means. I mean, he's got to have some weaknesses, right? But I do think that there is kind of a little bit of assumption because Stutes said he was at the combine and he was talking to him, and someone was asking him if he could see him being talking to him at the podium. Hey, do you see yourself as a slot guy? And he's like, man, I didn't line up in slot. I line up on the outside twice as much. But yeah, I found that kind of interesting. Do I think he's a first round guy? I don't know. I mean, I think it's possible. Let me see. There was another graphic. There's another graphic of him that I thought was kind of crazy. Okay, here we go. I got this one. This is, and I'm just throwing out names at wide receiver. Here's this graphic here that just kind of gives you a little bit of perspective that you're not just dealing with some, white dude, slow ass white dude, try hard. 40-yard dash, 4.39. Garrett Wilson, 4.38. 10-yard split, 1.52, 1.53. Vertical, both 36. Broad jump, 10.4, 10.3. Height, 6 foot, 186. Garrett Wilson, 5'11 and 3/4, 183. Just saying. Might be another name to look at the very least. We don't, I didn't watch him and say, damn, that's a first rounder. But I mean, the athleticism and the guys that I trust to watch tape, it kind of speaks for itself. So who knows? Who knows when he goes? Could end up being trash. So that's just another guy to check out right there. Lad McConkey, aka McConkey. I want to give some gratitude. It is the Locker Room. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. Number one source for Texans daily digital content. Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. Sports Radio 610. I think Texans fans should really, really thank the stanky one, Amy Adams Stank, owner of the Tennessee Titans, for everything they've done for the Houston Texans in recent history. Now, I know there was the uniform beef. I know there was a situation where they wore the Oilers uniforms and there was drama, and they kind of tried to get in the way of the Texans' new uniforms and all that type of stuff. And it was a little bit of a pain in the ass, to say the very least. But man, if you look at what the Oilers have done to help the Texans the last 5-ish months, I think you owe them a thank you. They lost to Case Keenum. A lot of mistakes they made in that game. They got their ass whooped by CJ Stroud when he came back, so much that he was able to rest up, ice up in the second half. Then they fired Mike Vrabel, the most accomplished coach in this division in the last half decade. And then they did what they did this morning, afternoon, whatever. And they took Calvin Ridley away from the Jags. The Jags were it was almost like they were laying out the plan. Everyone had like the details of the plan. The Jags are going to wait till 401. They're going to sign Calvin Ridley. They're only going to have to give up a third rounder instead of a second rounder. And they're going to put Calvin Ridley with Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and the Jags, who were a game away from winning the division last year. They're gonna be able to add some weapons. By the way, the other thing that they did for the Texans, they beat the Jags the final game of the year to give the Texans the division and give the Texans a home game in the playoffs. And if you look at what would have happened had the Titans not beaten the Jags, the Texans would have had to go to Buffalo. And remember when that game got delayed and stuff? You would have had to wait till whatever it was, Monday or Tuesday to play. And you would have had to play a better team on the road. So the Titans have been really good, and they kept being good to the Texans today because they take away Calvin Ridley from a team that's actually a threat to win the division, and they put him in Tennessee with Will Levis. And say what you want about Calvin Ridley, whatever the hell you think. He's not going to thrive with Will Levis. He's not going to do that. This is one of those overpays that is hilarious, and this is what makes it even funnier. To add a layer of reasons to be thankful to the stanky one, Amy Adams Stank, and whoever else is making the call in Tennessee. They're probably not going to take a receiver now. I saw Phil Yates say, man, this puts the Titans in good position to where the Tennessee Titans are going to be able to draft a tackle. Go ahead and draft a tackle. I was envisioning like Marvin Harrison Jr. or something like that falling to him. I was envisioning them getting an elite receiver, a young one, a cheap one, with more upside than Calvin Ridley. This is the highest, I think, contract for a receiver in free agency in like the last 5 years. I think the last one was Christian Kirk. Tennessee Titans have been good to the Texans. You should say thanks to him, man. And thank you to David Mulligetta, the agent of CJ Stroud. Massive favor for the Texans. Massive, man. The Tennessee Titans, the stanky one, doing big things. That's crazy right there. Calvin Ridley, I didn't think it was like that. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Tennessee Titans. Absolute insanity. What about Mike Williams? I'm good on that. But they did. I definitely do think they need to be looking at wide receiver. But yeah, Mike Williams, I don't know. Would I be okay with Hollywood Brown? You bet your ass I would be okay with Hollywood Brown, especially if it ends up being Dalton Schultz like last year. I did a video on that. So yeah, absolutely. I saw Ian Rapoport say some crazy things. I guess Alfredo was in a Titan Spaces. Is that what you're talking about? Those boys in the Titans Twitter Spaces said they have the best wide receiver group in the AFC South. They got Nuke, right? So they're saying Nuke, Burks, and Ridley. Okay, is that better than? I don't know if that's better than Nico and Tank. I don't think so. I mean, I would say no. I don't even know if that's better than Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. But we'll see what happens with Zay Jones. But they have a right to be excited. Hell, there's not much to be excited about. They're basically the gift that keeps on giving. They're basically a feeder program for the Texans at this point. Raul says you need Curtis Samuel. I like Curtis Samuel. I think Bobby Slowick could do some interesting things with Curtis Samuel. It's just a matter of what the price will be. So yeah, who knows what goes on with that? I don't know what the Titans are doing. I don't know what Ian Rapoport's talking about. Maybe this is just because he got like a favor or something. I know he got the scoop. I think Mulligetta gives him scoops. I mean, it seems like I'm not trying to accuse David of anything. I don't want that smoke. But he Ian Rapoport said this, and I just don't know how anyone can say this. Like, if you told me right now that if you told me that the Tennessee Titans, like if you came up to me and you said the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Tennessee Titans, if you told me that the Jacksonville Jaguars or Colts, are going to win the AFC South, I would say, yeah, I could see that. I mean, why not? I mean, the Jags were close last year. The Colts were close last year with their backup quarterback, although I don't know that they might have picked up their best quarterback today with Joe Flacco. I don't know what the hell Anthony Richardson's going to be. But if you said that, I would say, okay, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, it's a year-to-year league. I could easily see that happening. Crazier things have happened. But if you said this to me, what Ian Rapoport said, that this is an up-and-coming team, what are you basing that on, my friend? Calvin Ridley turns 30 this season. Man, they broke off Calvin Ridley at 30 and lands a life-altering contract. I agree with that, on an up-and-coming team. Who in the hell thinks the Tennessee Titans are up-and-coming? They're at least unknown, but up-and-coming? You've lost your damn mind, Ian. You have lost your damn mind, my friend. Up-and-coming. Come on, man. Ain't no one buying that. That's absolute craziness. There's been a debate going on around town with the Danielle Hunter trade, where there's questions about whether or not Hunter should be able to wear 99. Now, they were arguing about it when I got off the air today. I think some said yes and some said no. Why not? Why not? In Dallas, they've been rocking 88. It's not like because I know we talk about Dez Bryant, we talk about Michael Irvin wearing it, Drew Pearson, and now CeeDee Lamb. Antonio Bryant wore it too at one point. And it's not like if he was wearing it, you looked over and said, hey, what was that guy's name who used to catch touchdowns? The Hail Mary? Oh, Drew Pearson? Oh, I forgot about him because Antonio Bryant and Dez Bryant were wearing the jersey. What's that guy who used to catch touchdowns from Troy Aikman? Oh, Oh yeah, Irvin. Yeah, the guy who liked cocaine and prosties. Yeah, him. Come on, man. It's a number. Put him in the Ring of Honor and figure it out. But just if Hunter wants to rock 99, let him rock 99. That was a big signing right there. It's $24 million. I agree. I don't think JJ would care at all. So yeah, let him rock 99. I think it's a moot point for that. Someone's saying he's going to wear 94. I think y'all saw the graphic perhaps of that. I don't know that he said it at all. If he wants to rock 94, rock 94. If he wants to rock 99, let him rock 99. Zach sees a hardo. Who cares about the Cowboys? I mean, I thought it was a good example, my friend. I thought we were just talking about jersey numbers. I didn't know you were so triggered, Plant. Sorry to hurt your feelings. But the bottom line today, biggest takeaways, you lose 3 guys, 3 starters on the D-line, but you've already upgraded the D-line. That's takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2, keep an eye on Eric Armstead. Keep an eye on a safety as well. We know they're going to get offensive weapons. Could they get in this safety market? That seems like something Caserio would do based on opportunity. So let's keep an eye on that. And when you go to bed, you say your prayers, just thank the Tennessee Titans, man. Thank the stanky one. Amy Adams Stank. She's been very, very good to the Houston Texans. She's been really good to the Houston Texans. Big time, for sure. No doubt. Few comments before I get out of here. Get ready for the show tomorrow. Do we really have enough cap to chase Armstead? Over the cap has us at 21, but that's also without. Yeah, you can make it work, man. I'm not a cap is fake guy, but yeah, you can make it work. No doubt. Still no word on Nelson. Wouldn't be surprised if we keep him for a year, even though I hate his diva attitude. Yeah, I doubt he has a market. I bet he you know damn well that Steven Nelson, he saw Xavier Howard get that contract. You know he thinks he's better than Xavier Howard. Oh, there's fans who do. I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying the Packers broke him off. You know Steven Nelson thinks that. So we'll see what goes down with that. Leonard asks, what time will the new uniforms be shown tomorrow? I have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. No idea what you're talking about, my friend. Haven't heard anything about it at all. So I'm gonna stay away from that. Sarah says she's glad that you guys got Hunter. Did not want him to go to a division rival. Good luck this season. Thank you, Sarah. I'm assuming you're a Minnesota Vikings fan or something like that. Very, very nice. So we'll see what happens. Don't know about the unis, man. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I don't know where these folks are getting this information from. My lips are sealed on that. So whoever y'all are talking to, whoever y'all are hearing from, it ain't me. And if anyone asks you, just remember, it ain't me. Okay. I don't have to try to flex to try to brag to y'all on any of that. So I don't know what anyone's talking about. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, like, ride along. It's a fun time. It was a big day. Not as active as yesterday, but there was a trade, and we still got our head on a swivel. Very, very much. Appreciate you for coming through. Zach TX says comparing JJ to a cocaine. I'm just gonna put you in timeout, buddy. Go put your nose in the corner, weirdo. Should have known at the plant picture. That's just kind of weird. Subscribe, like, ride along. Remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. 10 a.m. on YouTube. Locker room every night, 10:30, and whenever news breaks as well. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. It's a fun ride, man. Really fun ride. Smooth sailing from here, right? Hope so.
You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize everything is what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlock. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got takes for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.